This edition. Will all people ever love one another? Oh, yes. The answer is a hearty yes. Just as soon as Jehovah, our Creator, slaughters everyone outside of his organization, then we will not have to shun anyone, and we will be free to love everyone on the planet who hasn't been killed by our sweet Lord Jehovah God. My choice between two fathers. You're not my son anymore! Leave this house immediately! And don't come back until you give up that religion. It's true, brothers. Worldly people will actually shun you over your choice of religion. How ignorant. The cruelty of worldly people. They will cast out their own family members over their choice of religious ideals. How tragic. How sad that we are growing up in this hate-filled world created by worldly people. It provides a hard choice for a 17-year-old. Let's read. Eventually, Mother heard about my involvement with Jehovah's Witnesses. She was very upset and ordered me to stop my Bible study. When she realized that I was serious about my convictions, she threatened to tell Father. At the time, I didn't care because I thought I would be able to handle the situation and stand my ground against Father. But I was mistaken. When Father learned that I was associating with Jehovah's Witnesses, he became furious. He threatened to throw me out of the house if I didn't stop my Bible study. How ignorant! Not allowing someone to choose their own religious beliefs? Shunning them? The ignorance of worldly people. Infuriating. I told him that I was not going to give it up, because what I was learning was the truth. After his shouting, yelling, and swearing ended, he started to cry like a child. What a bastard. He literally begged me to stop associating with the witnesses. It's as if he felt I was in some sort of danger. I was torn apart emotionally, torn between two fathers, Jehovah and him. I knew that both of them loved me very much, and I wanted to satisfy both of them, but it seemed impossible. You would think that Jehovah could be the bigger man in this situation, but you'd be surprised. The pressure was more than I could bear. I told Father that I would do what he wanted, reasoning that I could resume my studies and become a witness when I grew older. I was only 17 then. That actually sounds entirely reasonable. During the days that followed, I felt ashamed of what I had done. I felt that Jehovah was not happy. Here we go. And that I had not trusted in the words of the psalmist David, who said, "In case my own father and my own mother did leave me, even Jehovah himself would take me up." You'd be surprised again. But I was still in high school, and my parents were covering the expenses of my education. A few days later, however, my father and I were again standing face to face. But this time, I was better prepared for the confrontation. He tried calmly to ask, "Son, is it true that you are still associating with Jehovah's Witnesses?" Tears were in his eyes as he awaited my answer. It's as if he didn't understand that children have the right to choose their own associates, and that parents really don't have a say in that. Reprisals. A few days later, Father went to my uncle's house, thinking he would find me there. He attacked him and wanted to kill him. This worldly man showed the courage of Jehu. Young people, it's your choice. Delinquency, as shown here,
or God's approval? You got two choices. Make one.
We have country rocker Chris Christopherson. For some reason, he's in a beauty pageant of some sort. And he's not wearing shoes. And he's standing next to a giant thing. Oh, golly. These pagan religions truly sick to the core. At the top of this Emerald City is a golden image, which Jehovah put... Oh, I'm being told that is Jehovah. We have a... This is the Watchtower depiction of Jehovah. So, if you've wondered what Jehovah looks like, there you have it, friends. Jehovah.
Blood controversy.
I read the article. Doctors tried to take our daughter away, and I could only cry with happiness for the Deskins and their daughter, who escaped having blood forced upon her. My daughter, Dana, suffered serious burns and had to be hospitalized. The blood issue came up. Despite my most strenuous efforts to resist, blood was forced on Dana. I can therefore truly relate to how the Deskins must have felt during their trial. They are to be commended for their faith in Jehovah God and for strenuously resisting the doctors.
Discovers awake.
I was waiting for my turn in a barber shop when I looked for a magazine to help me pass the time. Before I realized it, I had spent several minutes reading a magazine called Awake. I was truly surprised to find myself deeply involved in the subtle beauty of the message contained in its variety of articles.
Special needs.
Thank you so much for the article on handicapped ones. We have a daughter in a wheelchair, and it takes much time to get ready for Christian meetings and to get in and out of our car during our door-to-door ministry. We make it to meetings on time and enjoy the spiritual food so much, but no one really knows how much effort it takes just to be there. Jehovah gives us the strength. If he didn't, we couldn't make it.
Pot of fat.
I was feeling very sad and sorry for myself. A year ago, my husband decided he didn't want a Christian for a wife, and he put my son and me out of the beautiful house he said he had bought for me. I went into poverty. My life seemed hopeless, and I asked Jehovah for help. Well, I received a lesson from the article. A lesson from a pot of fat. It reminded me to be content with sustenance and covering, and to keep kingdom interests first.
Good. We commend your humble attitude, sister. Now go, be warm and well-fed.
Mary and the resurrected Christ. I am writing to complain about an article in Watching the World, namely, Mary first to see the risen Christ? You demonstrate your ignorance of Scripture. What? Which also suggests a lack of interest in truth. The truth! There are many things that occurred and were said that are not included in the Bible.
You douche. You unbelievable douche.
Ignore this douchebag. He always writes an idiot. Information anxiety.
I read the series, Information Anxiety. How does it affect you?
You state that the glut of information may in part be due to the proliferation of news and magazines. I feel that your magazine may be contributing to this glut. Is this not a case of the pot calling the kettle black? Series exposed the glut of useless information. Awake certainly has not contributed to this, as its stated purpose is to probe beneath the surface and point to the real meaning behind current events. Such information could hardly be called useless.
Anger. In the article, Why Control Your Anger, you say that Simeon and Levi were cursed by their father. I'm sure I've read somewhere that it was their anger that Jacob cursed. Whatever. Search for justice. I disagree with the introduction. When you speak of the Texan defenders of the Alamo, you do not say that they were bandits, trying to snatch a territory that belonged to Mexico. I grow weary of this, Jehovah. This looks more uplifting. It was like eating honey. Rich. Salty. Although the man had never liked the witnesses and had never listened to them before, he readily accepted the Awake magazine for some reason. He realized that his prayer for help in connection with his daughter was being answered. Yet he wondered why God would use people who don't believe in the Trinity to answer his prayers. He reasoned that surely God doesn't use people to answer prayers if they don't teach the truth. That's an astute observation. Jehovah would not do something like that, except in the case of Pontius and Judas and Cyrus and Alexander and Nebuchadnezzar. But the point is, we are in the last days, and he wouldn't do that anymore. That night, the man read the entire brochure. While reading it, he became so excited. He said later that he had to pause and say to himself,
Just slow down. This can't be happening. This is just too good to be true.
The brochure presented the Bible's proof against the doctrine of the Trinity so clearly that when he read it, he explained,
It was just like eating honey.
Sticky. Sweet. The Trinity brochure, published by Jehovah's Witnesses. Smooth. Delicious. Like being trapped in a honeycomb of joy.
Emperor worship. In your article, Funeral for a Former God, you misplaced the blame for the conflict between Japan and the West. This was the result of the attempts of the West to dominate Asia. Were the articles good and proper for a Christian to read? By reading the details about Emperor Showa, are not our minds on the works that are wicked, as quoted in Colossians 1:21? The articles were written to expose the folly of worshipping any human and turn readers to the living God. Ed, the invisible Ed. Unseen but present. Crossword puzzles. I'm a rebel.
I was the one that you know. I was just sorry ever after 74, 75. Give me more and I'll be fine. 'Cause you really are only after 74, 75.
A hearty yes. Just as soon as Jehovah, our Creator, slaughters everyone outside of his organization, then we will not have to shun anyone, and we will be free to love everyone on the planet who hasn't been killed.
When I look on your eyes, then I find that I'll be fine.
worldly people will actually shun you over your choice of religion. How ignorant. The cruelty of worldly people. They will cast out their own family members over their choice of religious ideals. How tragic.
By our sweet Lord Jehovah God.
My choice between two fathers.
You're not my son anymore! Leave this house immediately! And don't come back until you give up that religion!
It's true, brothers.
75.
Enjoy our spiritual meals together, brothers. Welcome.
This edition. Will all people ever love one another? Oh, yes. The answer is